Hello, here we are again, City Heroes Video Tours. This one's going to be a little bit of a unique tour. I'm currently dwelling here on beta test server. The open beta test server, let's rephrase. And I'm going to go take a look at the impending issue 28 page 2, which involves a metric ton of changes, it seems, to Kallisti Wharf, including plaques and map badges. Now, this is still, of course, open beta. It is therefore entirely feasible that these things could be slightly changed prior to go live. However, that usually does not happen. But hey, if it does happen, not a problem. Can always make another video. So, we're going off on the plaque hunt for the first plaque badge. These plaques are definitely brand new as far as being in the zone. They are not currently in Kallisti Wharf on live. Once upon a time, I did explore Kallisti Wharf and I found a bunch of wall plaques and ground plaques that were never activated. Whether they are activated now as part of this, do not know. But there's a lot of plaques to be clicking. Fortunately, so far, this initial cluster of plaques is in the same general area, but I sense we'll probably take in the scenic route for a few of them. Call it a hunch. Also, there was, for a while, only one map badge in here, and it was on the shoulder of the giant statesman statue in the center. Rest very well assured that has changed. There's a total of 8 map badges now, which of course get all 8, get 5 merits, get an accolade. We're going to be incorporating that into this video as well. Now again, this is on open beta, where we're at this time. These plaques and map badges could get a last minute location update, but that's not likely. Now this one I kind of remember having been here always, but it's finally activated. And as always, if you want to read all this text, feel free to pause the video. And Kallisti Wharf is basically coming to life in this update. There's going to be enemies in the zone, a new enemy that we're going to have to deal with as well. Street sweep enough of that new enemy group, and you can actually spawn a giant to bring down. Like, the giant is supposed to basically orbit around the center island area, but... And Blackwing Industries here is the new enemy. I have yet to face them in action, but we shall see. Also, there are changes to tanks and how power recharge works in general, and a few things. Like, expect tanks for some time in the game have been, shall we say, a little overamped. They've been dealing a bit more damage than tanks are generally supposed to. Also, there are people that love to slot AoE powers with as many procs as they can for extra proc damage when they fire off those attacks. But I never did quite believe in that philosophy. My philosophy for building characters, tanks or otherwise, is let's get recovery, let's get regen, let's get defense stats up, let's get damage up in general, and maybe throw a proc or two in some attacks, yes. But I've seen some builds posted online that are, shall we say, proc heavy or proc bombers. And honestly, those builds are, even for tanks, some of those builds have been a little bit fragile. Where honestly speaking, yeah. If those proc bomb attacks miss, or don't do enough damage to take an enemy down, well, you might find your tank or other character that's a proc bomber in some serious trouble. They're also affecting the recharge, so that the more enemies that get hit, the longer the power takes to recharge, thus reducing the effectiveness of proc attacks. So So basically this does kind of affect the proc bombers. It's not really a negative impact in general, and whoa, I'm actually being attacked in the zone. How rare. Gold brickers. Okay. Duly noted. Gold brickers. Okay. Not that they can really hurt me, but hey. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah, Kallisti Wharf is no longer the empty, happy zone that we've all come to enjoy. Don't get me wrong, it's going to still be an overall safe zone. Just remember, when you're flying and running around now, there are street mobs. Remember this, when it's spring event... Sorry, I should say the anniversary event, not spring, never mind that. When it's anniversary event and they got the time capsules up for you to run around and go clicking on. Or when it's winter time and they got all the presents up for you to be clicking on. Okay, we have our first new plaque badge here. Okay. So, like I was saying though, it is not going to be the happy, happy, safe zone that it used to be. That being said, however, it's not going to be an instant destruction zone either. Remember this though, for all of you who have low-level characters that like to come to the zone, Kallisti Wharf has always been a level 40 minimum zone. So if you're level 39 or lower, perhaps staying out of the wharf now is not a bad idea. The market crash trial is still supposed to be here, so we need not worry about that being changed. And also, there are spots in Kallisti Wharf that are really great to use for trick-or-treat and the Halloween event. I don't really foresee that being negatively impacted by street mobs. And even if there are street mobs in the general area of where you're trick-or-treating, big deal. You should be on a team or a league for trick-or-treat anyway, and shouldn't have too much trouble dealing with that. Okay, Blackwing Industries. Okay, these are just NPCs, can't fight them, but... Okay. We have met the new enemy, and it is them. Okay. So, anywho, let's keep on looking for the plaques. By the way, you might want to be pausing the vid every time I put in those coordinates, as well as just pay attention to the visual area when I come across the plaque. And this next one that we seek has about 6 plaques to locate. Yep. And there's a total of 3 new plaques in here. And some of these plaques I'm coming across are familiar. Some of these are ones that I've seen in the zone prior. A couple are new ones, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Also, I like to open and close the text a couple times because sometimes when you click a plaque, it doesn't always register, and then you gotta double back and find out which plaque you missed. Doesn't seem to have much on red or gold side. Blue side, some of the zones can be that way. But this is Kallisti Wharf, and this zone has always been optimized in terms of lag, etc. So I'm not really sweating these changes to Kallisti Wharf. I'm actually kind of looking forward to them. I mean, they did add security drones before this update on the Center Peninsula Island area. Yeah, and I definitely took that as an omen that, ooh, if those drones are there, things are coming. So. Alright, this should be the last plaque. We should get a new history badge going here. And we do. Flagtown Memorial. Memorials, okay. What do we have here? Ooh, warriors and capos. Take careful note, people. Don't forget, there are defeat badges for the crime family minions, lieutenants, and the bosses. So if you see them in this zone, you could try to sweep them. For the warriors, it's only the bosses for the defeat badges. So you gotta look for the word elite in the warrior name. So we got warriors, we got the capos, we got the gold brickers, we got the blackstone. Okay. Okay. And we got one more plaque badge to get, and apparently it only requires 4 plaques. So let's go. Make sure all my powers are turned on, because also there are new story arcs in Kallisti Wharf. New contacts, new story arcs. You can access them in Ouroboros. Future videos will be dealing with that. Complete the arc for a badge, and some of them appear to have bonus content, which of course will yield another badge. We'll be taking a look at those on other videos. For right now, this is simply a tour and nothing more. Interesting spot. Okay, good to know. So far, these 4 appear to be clustered to fairly close to each other. That's good. So really, only the first one's required a lot of travel around the zone to get. Okay. So these plaques are pretty close to each other as well. So that first one, that's going to require a little bit of travel. Ta-da! Patron of the Arts. Okay. Now, probably should have done that sooner, but oh well. Alright, let's go ahead now. We're going to look for some exploration badges. We're going to start here at the center. Ah, yes. No sign of that new giant. Okay. Supergroup portal's still where it's at. This is good. These drones have been here prior to this impending update. So. And let's get rid of that thumbtack. We don't need it. Alright, well. Here we are. Map badge number 1 is right here. And this character already has it. That's right. Okay. Greetings, statesman. Yeah. Pause for a little bit so I could scroll down and locate it. This alt already had it. But this is the first badge that they ever put in the zone, so for now we'll just call this badge number 1. It's been in the zone for some time. Ever since the game came back, actually. Or close. No, actually, no, scratch that. The statue was, the badge came a little bit later. Well, one question I never did answer. If the Statesman Memorial statue was here, where was Statesman buried? Anyway. Alright, so that's map badge number 1. Let's go ahead and find the others. again, just for reference, I'm calling that one badge number 1 simply because it's the first one that the zone ever had. What they've chosen to number it, who knows? Hello, this is different. This little island here has been here, but now it's all rocky and forested. Okay. And here's a map badge. And this door tells me this is where some of the story arcs are going to be taking me to. Okay. And what do we have here? Okay. Interesting little bit of intel data. They appear to have force field tech. Okay. Like I said, I have yet to face these guys in battle, so not quite familiar with their capacities yet, but we shall see. Okay. Okay. Blackstone cars. Or Blackwing cars, I should say. Okay. Okay, here's our next one. Interesting. So Blackwing's keeping the peace in Kallisti Wharf. Okay. Or at least they're supposed to be. But this one wants to attack. Okay. Now that we're no longer being so pointlessly interrupted. Okay, those are the coordinates for the one we were just at on the Statesman statue, so we need not go there. So let's move on. Okay, yep, I suspect these last 4 badges we have to get are going to be all on the eastern half of the map. And yes, this alt flies. It doesn't have teleport or fold space on this build. Too bad, so sad. the dock. Alexander the Great. Okay, he's one of the contacts here in this zone for his story arc. Hopefully it's a bit more organized than the classic one where he's in Talos. Ugh. I wonder if he's already unlocked. Yes, he is. Okay, duly noted. The arcs are also supposed to be up on Ouroboros as well, so that's a good thing. Since some of them have a bonus badge. Some of them might require to be run a couple times until you get all the objectives right. Okay. Onward. The Wyvern are here now? Okay. Or Wyvern, however you want to pronounce it. Okay. And now for the final map badge. Okay, so yep. One map badge in the center, and then the rest are split between the two peninsulas. Okay. No surprise. That was as expected. Ah, the gas station. Okay. The prettiest one, that's the Accolade, fueled by greed, of course. Right by a gas station. Okay, well, looks like that's going to do it for this video. So this is going to be a cut and a print and a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the, looks to be upgraded Kallisti Wharf. Other videos should include the contacts and their story arcs. Of course, they're still doing some bug fixes and some tune-ups, so things could be subject to change. Anyway, hope to see you on the next video. Feel free to like and subscribe. And hey, as always, once in a while, turn your computer off. Go outside and play. See you later.